A major day in the case against the Parkland school shooter. The penalty phase underway, where the jury will decide if Nikolas Cruz should be sentenced to death for murdering 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Cruz is the deadliest mass shooter to ever go before a jury.
And now, as Christina Boomer Vasquez shows us, the jury must decide whether the confessed killer should spend the rest of his life in prison or be sentenced to death.
I'm going to speak to you about the unspeakable.
In his opening statement, lead prosecutor Michael Satz delivered grisly facts of the brutal 2018 school shooting case.
Shoot and kill 9 students.
Nikolas Cruz shot and killed 17 Marjorie Stoneman Douglas students and staff, hurt another 17, and Satz walked jurors through the crime scene, the ages of the victims, the number of times they were shot.
Peter Wang was shot 13 times.
Just hearing his words, bringing some family members in the courtroom to tears. Then came the witnesses. Survivors like teacher Brittany Sinich, who described how a fun Valentine's Day card-making activity dissolved into students hiding in corners and under her desk, rattled by the sound of explosive gunfire.
It's like you could just feel it within your body, like all throughout your chest.
And Danielle Gilbert, a student at the time, 4 classmates shot. She recorded video of unfolding events. And while the public could not view it, the audio of heavy breathing, moaning and screaming, sounds of fear and pain cut through the courtroom like a shockwave. Family members held each other's hands firmly. One ran out of the courtroom in tears.
These are police. These are police. We're okay now.
The shooter buried his head in his hands and watching the jurors.
The murders, all 17, were heinous, atrocious, and cruel.
The defense told the court that they're reserving their right to hold back on their opening statement and deliver it instead of today after the state presents its case. And that means after recess, we went right into trial testimony with the state calling its first witnesses. So far, they have all been survivors, teachers and students at the time of the shooting that had some harrowing details, evidence that the prosecution wants these jurors to consider when they ultimately deliberate to decide whether Nikolas Cruz should get life or death. In Fort Lauderdale, Christina Vasquez, Channel 4, the local station.
And more than 4 years after the tragedy, the victims' families will get their day in court this week. They're expected to deliver impact statements.